our last presentation today is from Gemma Fawcett, who was actually on the screen called Apple Class iPad for some unknown reason. But
it's my class iPad.
Yeah, she's actually Gemma Fawcett from Buryfields Infant School in Hampshire. And Gemma is currently a reception teacher and a very experienced Key Stage 1 practitioner. And I know she's going to talk about the creative work they do more broadly, but one dimension of their work, which is really exceptional, is the way they've embedded STEAM into their Year 1 curriculum, following some work we did several years ago, actually, but that's all still going. So I'm very excited to see how that's developed. So I'm going to endeavour to get your PowerPoint.
Thank you.
We there?
Thank you. Yeah, lovely. Thanks very much. So next slide, please, Lorraine. Yeah. Lovely, thank you. So I'm not going to sing, sorry. I feel like I'm failing everybody now by not singing. But just to begin, I wanted to just explain what's so important to Buryfields Infant School and mastering the child's learning, and how important we see repetitive practice, giving the time, the focus, learning from their mistakes, improvising, and most importantly, persevering. And as a whole staff, that's everybody, dinner supervisors, LSAs, everybody all got together a few years ago, and we decided what we felt our learning powers should be for our school. And every school is so individual, aren't they? And we came up with these 8 learning powers, which you can see on the PowerPoint there, and all things that we do all the time in our schools, but so valuable. And each half term we focus on 3 to really embed them within our early years children as they begin their life in Buryfields Infant School. So how it is obviously good to be me. It is important to have a go. The teamwork in creativity is vital. Persevering, as we know, you build a tower, you try again the next day, you build it better, you build it differently, you create in a different way, you celebrate everyone's creativity, everyone produces, as Kirsten's already said, you know, it's so individual. Our creativity is so individual. Making those mistakes, exploring, obviously, so vital, and aiming high. So there is always, you know, anywhere to go. There's no limit. Thank you, Lorraine. So slide 3, I think it is next, please.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you. In our kind of core ethos at Buryfields is be kind, be confident, and love learning. So it enables the children in early years to come in and start with us. We've got 3 classes of early years children in our school, and we create a sense of belief and a sense of confidence. We enable through our planning that all SEN provision is there, that there is accessibility and flexibility for every task, and that it's not, as we've heard already today, it's not prescriptive. The provision is there to enable that experience for the child. One key fact that we do is we use our Year 2 and our Year 1 children within our early years area to enable collaboration and practical exploration, as it says there. So you're getting that peer-on-peer input. And the Year 2 and the Year 1 children are enabling themselves because they're showing their confidence, they're showing their pre-learning, they're using what they've learned last term or even last year, and they're sharing that with the early years children and enabling those early years children to learn from their peers rather than always an adult within the school. And it empowers the Year 1 and 2 children massively, but obviously the core reason is for those early years children to see what creativity can be in their own ability, should they keep on with their perseverance and enable their actions. And I think the next slide, Lorraine, just shows some pictures where we've had specific times during the year, and it's not just your arts week, it's, you know, throughout every half term this is happening. Most recently for the Queen's Jubilee, we produced a class patchwork, and that actually linked with our junior school in our village and with our secondary school in our village, and then we displayed them in our parish church. So it was wonderful. But each square has been created with an early years child as well as a year 1 or a year 2 child, and they've built those skills together. So that demonstrates what I've just been saying. And then slide 5. Obviously, with this is kind of our core beliefs of creativity, really, as with all of you guys, you know, we're all doing it, aren't we? It's just so individual to our own school, having the space, having the time, developing the motor skills, again, having that time for perseverance, having that ability for them to feel relaxed and open, to not feel that they have a problem if something doesn't work, whatever that may mean with not working. You know, okay, that's what you've done that time, okay, the tower might have fallen over, how can you create a tower to make it a little bit stronger? It's just they're learning through their exploration, aren't they? We have discovery time embedded within our half terms in early years. So it may come from a story, or it may come from a particular problem that's given to the children where they have to solve. We've had the gingerbread man trying to get across the river, and what boats can they create. So it's a key focus time for those children, and it's a collaborative time, and they share with their peers, with their class, or maybe go into another early years class if they've worked in that other early years class during their free flow, and they share within that area. Also in the early years we start an art book, which I'm sure a lot of you do, and that follows the child through the school, so they can see their own progression, and they can see, they build their pride up, and they see that acknowledgement, they see their creativity develop. So that's really important to our journey. Thank you, Lorraine. So this is what Lorraine touched on in her introduction, really. So I met Lorraine 2017, I think it was, maybe a bit earlier, 2016. I took over our school's Arts Mark journey, and we began, and there was a group of schools all wanting to begin their journey, and we had many discussions and meetings where we could enable each school in our local area. We pulled in, you know, 3 or 4 schools within our area here who were all keen to be on the Arts Mark journey, and we shared ideas, and it became a real hub. Arts Work is obviously a massive support to us as an Arts Mark school, and Lorraine enables our school to be in touch with other ambassadors that can come and enable us. What we've tended to do, at the very beginning, back in 2017, we went full pelt into this fortnight, and it was full on, fantastic, loads of ambassadors coming, finishing with an exhibition, and it got the parents in, it got the community in, and it was absolutely brilliant, and we collapsed in a heap at the end of it. And all the early years children, their creativity was absolutely key to this. What we've built, and we've embedded these STEAM weeks in, is we do this throughout our school year now, and so we have maybe a day in one half term, maybe a week in another half term. And what's vital is the voice of the early years child and what they want to learn and what they want to discover comes through from these STEAM weeks, days, fortnights, however it occurs within that half term at Buryfields. And always having an exhibition, always inviting the community in to share. And I think the next slide shows some pictures, Lorraine, of some of these exhibitions. So you can see the creativity they've devised in the paddling pool. Top left picture, you can see they were testing out their boats, and the middle picture, and they, you know, again, this is the year 1 and the year 2 children spending time with the early years children, enabling their creative skills to develop. And then in the next slide, Lorraine, you can see that in slide 8, yes, thank you. So it's just those key ambassadors that we have. And this is just one element of the creativity that we do with obviously our day-to-day early years creativity, is all the things that we've talked about and discussed. But these are areas in Buryfields that enhance that and kind of really encircle that. It gives those early years children a time to really pull it all together and share an experience, and for us and the other children further up the school to hear the voice of the early years child about what their response is to the visitors that come to school. We have musicians come, we have Southampton Art Gallery, we have an artists come, we've got the RAF in our village, so we have key elements of the RAF come in and do some real experiments with the children to enable that DT and that creativity to come through. And what's really important, and I'm sure everybody knows this already, but what's really important is if we start it in early years, then they've got that freedom of exploration, haven't they? They're not worried, they don't care about making mistakes, they don't feel inhibited in any way, and that creativity will just blossom. And that's what we really hope our Buryfields children go on to junior school feeling. So the next slide just shows some pictures of our ambassadors, and I'm not going to finish in a song either. So
that's a disappointment, Gemma.
It's I've rattled through, I'm sure, but I hope it's given you a snapshot of just how we kind of build on all those areas that we do day to day. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gemma. That's given us a real flavour of the work that you do, and the benefits to the children are obvious and right across the curriculum. They must be. And I think, you know, that's something really significant, is the idea that starting that young, it becomes an expectation, which is wonderful, and there's a lot of confidence around that.